for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Yao, it's good to see you again. You testified before Parliament on October the 31st of last year. I did at the time ask you, what would you say you do here? And this was one answer you gave in the course of that round. You said, I am an executive on the board of directors for Dalian, and I maintain all of the governance as it relates to the PSAB. Mr. Yao, was that the truth as of October 31st of 2023?
So, Mr. Chair, just a correction, it's Mr. Yo, okay, not Yao.
How about just an answer?
But then I will answer you for sure. But, you know, it ends up that we were in that time frame of dealing with lawyers, and I had been, you know, directing at a director level.
Sir. October the 31st, you were before this committee.
Yep.
You answered my question in a particular way. Was what you said to the committee then assembled on October the 31st, was it the truth?
So at that time, there was no divestiture because we were working on it. And
were
also
you
I had
quote on the were you quote an executive on the board of directors for Dalian? Were you the one who quote maintained all of the governance on October the 31st? Was that true? Yes or no?
Sure. Yes.
It was true.
Well, that's the answer you're looking for, so I'm going to give it to you.
No, sir. I'm looking for the true answer.
So the true answer is
just as I was on October the 31st.
We were in flux during that time period in order to, obviously, we had 60 days to get everything done, and we did that with Dalian and got our non-disclosure in and our no access.
Okay, sir, you're not in flux. You either were on the board of directors or you weren't on the board of directors, right? You know, a person is either pregnant or not. They're either on the board of directors or they're not on the board of directors. They're not half pregnant and they're not half on the board of directors. You have said that shamefully the media have claimed that you were on the board of directors and a government employee at the same time without asking you. Well, maybe they didn't need to ask you because they foolishly assumed that what you told Parliament on October the 31st was true. Now, sir, your LinkedIn account says that you were a business owner at Dalian Enterprises from 2001 until present, and you were employed by the Department of National Defense continuously from 1987 until present. So, again, to your truthfulness or not, was your LinkedIn account accurate in description of those timelines?
Well, if you look at LinkedIn, it is a non-authoritative source. First of all, it's LinkedIn. It's a web page. All right.
Why would we believe what's on the internet, sir? It's your own LinkedIn profile, sir. Why would we expect that you would put accurate information on your own LinkedIn page? Outrageous.
All right,
Chair, I'm okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to answer that question.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Genuis. It is his round of questioning. I'll just ask you to. We can all hear you quite clearly, so if you could just keep that in mind, Mr. Genuis.
Thank you, Chair. I am getting a little bit excited here because. Mr. Yao, you have Mr. Yo, whatever your name is, sir.
All right, hold on, Mr. Genuis. I would ask. Names are important.
Okay.
We all make mistakes, but if you could conduct yourselves in a way that shows our witness respect.
Okay, it's Genuis, by the way, but
that's a good point. Yes, and it's William's son. I realize.
If we're insisting,
all right, you have a minute and a half left, Mr. Genuis.
Okay. Sir, you have on your LinkedIn profile a claim that you were simultaneously working for the government and leading Dalian. You told this committee on October the 31st, pardon me, not this committee, but you told that committee on October 31st that you were you were on the board of directors for Dalian. You were at the time employed by the government. And you have subsequently said, oh, no. There was some flux going on. But you clearly were in a conflict of interest, weren't you, sir? You were clearly doing both at the same time. And now you're trying to weasel your way out of it after the fact. But you were clearly in a conflict of interest, were you not?
So, Okay, so I need to answer the LinkedIn side of it first. First of all, it's a non-authoritative source and it's on the internet.
It's
and
your
it did say-
profile.
It did say 1987.
Did you write it?
It did not describe all of my service that I have done. I have done 14 years in the Reg Force, 10 years in the reserves, 20 years as a contractor. I've had 36 years in the department.
Did you
LinkedIn.
subcontract the writing of your LinkedIn profile, sir?
Probably should have.
Your time. for
So
one
I
last
needed
question,
to answer your
Mr.
question. You asked me a question and I'm trying to answer it, okay? The department has deemed.
Were you
from what I
not in a
understand,
conflict of
I was not
interest
in- no.
being on the board of directors of Dalian at the same
My under-
time as you were an employee of a department that was giving contracts to a company that you, according to your testimony before Parliament, were on the board of directors of?
Thank you, Mr.
My
Genuis. That is your
understanding is
time.
that
I will allow
D&D
for an answer, please. Yes, I will allow you to answer,
thank
Mr. Genuis. Your time is expired. You have the floor,
Thanks,
sir.
Mr. Chair. Yeah. My understanding is that D&D has made a statement that there was no conflict of interest. Period.
Thank you. Turning now to
Politics in Canada today was just absolutely crazy. It was just bonkers. They're talking today. We had Canadian testimony on SNC Lavalin from 5 years ago. That was a disaster. ArriveCAN scam app. That was a disaster. Talking about the carbon tax with Stephen Guilbeault. That was an absolute disaster. Carbon tax is scheduled to go up April 1st. Tomorrow, a Conservative motion to cancel that is in the House, in Parliament. So make sure you contact your MPs today, tonight, and let them have it. I'm sure it won't make a difference, though, because of the NDP coalition that hates Canada and hates Canadians, hates the middle class. They don't want you to be prosperous and happy, which is why they have the carbon tax to begin with anyway. Having said that, there is so many scandals and corruption in Canada right now. Do you think that it has been normalized to the point where it is just business as usual because so many politicians have gotten away with it? I watch these committees like every single day, and these witnesses with their testimony and a lot of the Liberal MPs, they just don't care. They don't care enough to grind, to push really hard to get justice. And that's what it feels like right now is we just are never going to get justice. Justin Trudeau will never resign. We're always having to wait for like these checkpoints. And it shouldn't be like that. There should be integrity there. It is just crazy. And I'm scared that Canadians have become numb to corruption and scandal. Now, what I want to leave with you is an example. We have record spending in government on the public sector with contractors and consultants. So we have an incompetent government that doesn't know how to do their job. So what they do is they hire contractors and consultants to do their jobs for them. And they get staff to do all of the other stuff, like clerks and secretaries and stuff. Now, with the SNC Lavalin, or the ArriveCAN scam app scandal, if you put those two things side by side, is it any coincidence that you have politicians triple dipping and using that exact same formula in their everyday lives? The government gets taxpayer dollars. They don't want to work. So they take those taxpayer dollars and then they hire people to do their job for them. They get the best of both worlds. So now we have government contractors who look at what the politicians are doing and go, fuck it, I don't want to work either. So they fake bid up the contracts, get way more money than they deserve anyway. And then they get ghost contractors and they create these bullshit businesses on the side. And then they triple dip. It's systemic. This is why I always say that all roads lead to Western independence. We need complete reform, or the provinces need to take their power and break away from the federal government and let it die, and then reform all of the provinces and create a new federation or a union. Follow me on Substack and Spotify and let me know what you think. Like, share, and take care.